Hey, it's David. I'm back again. It's still the 24th of July. It's actually just a few minutes after I signed off, just a short time ago. I realized that I had mentioned that I was going to talk a little bit about what my plans are over the short term, next steps, so to speak. So I'll finish getting the interior trim pieces out. There's still the headliner, the rear view mirror, the visors, the dash. The dash is going to be probably a day-long job of patience, just making sure I got everything on the wiring harness all labeled. Been trying to be as methodical as possible in this, not trying to rush, taking my time and getting things done properly. So by doing the wiring harness with a bit of patience, then hopefully it'll make the rebuild a little bit easier. Now, a couple of things that I wanted to mention. As I've mentioned, this is a GT6 Plus. It's the Mark II, and the engine that I've got is from a Mark I. And I believe I mentioned in my first video log that I really do like the lines of the original Mark I best. Now, I know that not everybody has the same opinion, but you know, that's why it's called an opinion. I just happen to like the Mark I best. So I still have all of the dash components from my Mark I, the car that my wife and I dubbed Sammy 30 some years ago. Anyway, so I've still got all Sammy's instrument panel items, and most of them are in pretty good shape. I've taken them out of the old instrument panel. The wood, of course, was delaminating. Most of the instruments came out in pretty good shape. I still have quite a bit of work to do on the restoration for those, but I would really like to put the Mark I instrument panel in this car rather than the Mark II. I don't like the look of the switches. I don't like the way they feel. I think, in fact, on this particular one, most of the switches are, they don't feel like they work. It's hard to know, of course, without them actually being connected and being live, but just when you go to push the switch on the dashboard right now, it doesn't feel like it's actually working properly. So the other thing that I do like, I prefer about the lines of the Mark I is the front bumper. And I've been trying to read up about how the front bumper was connected and what the attachment points were. And now I still have my front bumper from the Mark I, and I just had it out to do a kind of a dry fit, or just hold it up in place today, and I found that sure enough, the bumper supports fit in those right there. Now, one of the bumper supports is still intact. One of them got cut off when I was scrapping the old car, so I might have to get one refabbed, but it's not a really big deal. That's just it's just an angled piece of flat steel with a couple of bends in it, so it shouldn't be a big deal. More difficult, I think, is going to be to figure out if there's any way that I can change up the front outriggers here to hold the bonnet so that the bonnet can flip up with that particular location of the bumper. So I don't know whether that's going to be a possibility, whether I'm just pipe dreaming or what's up. Anyway, that's more long term. In the shorter term, once I get all the trim pieces out of the body, then it's going to be time to start thinking about a body rotisserie. I know I've seen lots of people doing the body work on these cars in place. I have almost no experience in welding, so the idea of being all crouched over and trying to do the welding in really confined space in a really contorted position just does not seem like a recipe for success to me. So I think that the first thing I'll be doing after I get all the trim and such, is putting together a rotisserie for the body tub. I've seen a few different designs. I'm afraid that some of the names have escaped me, but there was one which was done in a way that the frame was out of wood, and the body tub, when it was in its upright position, was up high enough that the chassis could actually roll underneath the whole frame. So in this situation that I have here, with very limited storage space, I'm just going to back up here and see if you can get a sense of how much space I got or how little. So that's about all I've got. So I'm really thinking that the only way to tackle a total frame off restoration here is going to be to get a rotisserie built that allows me to move the rolling chassis in and out, the frame, that is. So there's been a couple of designs that I've seen on the interweb. I will be looking for those again, and sketching some stuff up for myself. And of course, because most of this work is being done by myself, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do the lifting. So I may have to also figure out some kind of gantry. Again, there's lots of different designs out there for gantry rigs. Again, a small space doesn't necessarily mean it's impossible, just a bit more challenging. So that's the big picture. Tomorrow, if I'm out here, then I'll be finishing off getting the trim out. Then the dash panel, get the wiring all sorted out, and pull the wire looms out if I can. And then I think once I get to that point, I can start thinking about either doing a little bit of surface rust cleanup, or just going straight to getting a rotisserie built and getting the body separated from the frame, and then I can roll the frame out and work on that separately. And so I know, ambitious, but my goal is to have this done not this year but next year. So that gives me, a year. Maybe that is ambitious for a newbie, never been done before, but let's just say it's a soft deadline. It's not a hard deadline. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.